What if I told you the 2024 NBA champions might blow it all up, just months after raising the banner? Not because they want to, but because they have to. This summer, Boston isn't celebrating, it's panicking. Jayson Tatum is out for the year. The luxury tax is breathing down ownership's neck, and trade calls are flooding Brad Stevens' phone. Jaylen Brown, Derrick White, even Jrue Holiday. Nobody is untouchable anymore. This isn't a minor tweak, it's a full-scale identity crisis. And the Celtics may be one bold move away from detonating the very core of their championship team. Why? Stay with me, because what's coming next might reshape the entire NBA. Is Boston really rebuilding? It sounds insane, right? The Celtics just won the title. But in the NBA, timing is everything. And right now, the timing couldn't be worse. Tatum's season-ending injury doesn't just sideline a superstar, it exposes a brutal truth. Without him, this team isn't a contender. And the numbers back it up. Boston's offensive rating without Tatum, bottom third in the league. Their net rating plummets. The system cracks. So what do you do when your best player is gone for the year, and your second best player is owed over $50 million annually? You consider the unthinkable. Breaking it all down to build something sustainable. Because keeping the gang together just to float around, 500? That's not the Celtics way. Is Jaylen Brown on the trade block? Let's not sugarcoat it. League executives are circling like sharks. According to Shams Charania, teams are calling about Jaylen Brown. And while the Celtics prefer not to move him, there's a keyword here: prefer. This isn't a hard no. It's a soft maybe, depending on how big the offer is. And you better believe the offers will come. We're talking about a 27-year-old all-NBA wing in his prime, under long-term control. Franchises with war chests of picks and cap space are preparing Godfather deals. Boston has to listen, because if you're not competing this year, you might want to cash in now. Before Brown, this is where it gets dark. There's a trade rumor floating that involves Jrue Holiday and a $26 million star wing, and that rumor, it might not be a rumor much longer. Holiday was brought in to win now, but with Tatum out, now is no longer an option. His contract, age, and championship pedigree make him the perfect target for a contender. And here's the scary part. If Boston moves Jrue, Brown, and White, they're not just taking a step back, they're detonating the roster. They'd be pivoting from title defense to talent accumulation, loading up on picks, young wings, and maybe even taking a swing in the 2025 draft. It's radical, it's risky, but with the second apron looming and Tatum sidelined, it might be the smartest play. So here we are, a team that just touched the mountaintop now stands on the edge of a cliff. The Celtics can run it back and hope for the best, or they can embrace the chaos and reset the timeline entirely. It's a franchise-defining moment, one that could either launch a new dynasty or leave Boston stranded in mediocrity. But what would you do if you were Brad Stevens? Let Jaylen walk? Flip Derrick for picks? Blow it all up? Drop your take in the comments. Because this offseason might be the most pivotal in Celtics history. And trust me, what happens next won't stay quiet for long. Make sure you're subscribed. The next chapter's coming fast. What if I told you the Boston Celtics might just pull off one of the most crucial roster decisions this offseason? One that could redefine their entire championship window. It's not about Tatum or Brown. No, this time it's Derrick White, a player quietly stealing the spotlight while the injury storm raged. But here's the twist. Despite breaking franchise records and delivering career-best numbers, there's a shadow hanging over his fate. Will the Celtics keep their secret weapon? Or will trade rumors blow this story wide open? Buckle up, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Is Derrick White Boston's most underrated star? Derrick White's 2024-25 season wasn't just good, it was historic. Averaging a career high, 16.4 points, 4.8 assists, and nearly 5 rebounds per game. White didn't just fill gaps left by injuries to Brown, Holiday, and Porzingis. He dominated. He smashed the Celtics' single-season three-point record, a feat that's easy to overlook in a star-studded lineup. But here's the kicker. No all-defensive nods. No major awards. Barely a whisper in MVP talks. How does a guy putting up 44% shooting from the floor and 38% from deep get snubbed? The Celtics' defensive-first reputation might explain the silence, but it doesn't explain why they'd even consider losing him. So, is White Boston's most underrated star, or just the most misunderstood? And here's a cliffhanger for you. What if this underrated label is exactly why other teams are circling? Why is Derrick White so hard to trade? Talk to any NBA exec, and Derrick White is a hot commodity. Yet, despite that demand, Boston's front office is reportedly keen on keeping him. Shams Charania's reports say the Celtics would rather not move White this offseason. But why? The answer's in his contract. $28 million a year. A hefty price that not every team can match under the salary cap. This bottleneck means potential trades require complex packages. The Minnesota Timberwolves immediately come to mind. They've been linked with multiple trade talks, even though Jaden McDaniels is considered untouchable for Durant trades. Would Minnesota gamble McDaniels plus 2 future first-round picks just to land White? Unlikely, but it's the kind of offer Boston might demand, proving just how valued White really is. Stay tuned. The trade talks might just heat up faster than you think. Could trading White break Boston's championship dreams? Losing White could send shockwaves through Boston's championship plans. Remember, this isn't just about numbers. It's about stability and clutch performances. When stars go down, White proved to be that steady hand, often the only consistent scorer when the Celtics were scrambling. If he's traded, Boston loses more than a player. They lose a safety net. But here's the rub. With Tatum out for the year and the roster strained, some argue it might be smarter to leverage White's market value to reload. It's a risky gamble, betting that the Celtics can rebuild better assets fast enough. So, does trading White spell the end of Boston's immediate title hopes? Or is it a calculated move toward long-term dominance? You won't believe the hidden implications behind this dilemma. Coming up next. So, what's the real story with Derrick White? Is he Boston's unsung hero, the linchpin they can't afford to lose, or just the most tempting trade chip in a complicated offseason? Chess game? One thing's clear. The Celtics' decision on White won't just shape the 2025-26 season. It could rewrite the franchise's future for years to come. What do you think? Should